Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today my name is Kay and happy Good Friday to all of you. Today we're reviewing the Super Mario Bros. Galaxy movie. Before we get started, hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed, and let's get to it. So I just got back home from taking my kids to see this film, and it was so much fun. It was awesome. It's great. There's nothing in it that was out of place, nothing that didn't feel like a Mario film, nothing that didn't feel like Nintendo. It was really good. It was very colorful, it was bright, there was a lot going on. I really don't have anything negative to say. Just to kind of go over it, the plot, for those of you who are curious, Rosalina gets kidnapped by Bowser Jr., Peach goes to find Rosalina, then Bowser Jr. captures the castle with Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi present. They leave to try to find Peach, and then they meet, and then they all go fight Bowser Jr. and the recently released Bowser. It's a lot of fun. There's not really a lot going on plot-wise. I feel like the first one had a better plot, but this one still feels fun. It just feels like an additional game in the storyline. You don't have to think too much about it. It just was what it was. And that's kind of one of the drawbacks that I found with the film was splitting the gang up so early, because Peach and Toad go after Bowser Jr. alone, and then of course Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi, they take little Bowser and run to find regular Peach, and there's a whole split there. It still worked, but it was kind of disjointed a way to go back and forth between them, even though they're all going to the same place. It wasn't as fun as like when they got split up in the first one. It felt like there was a real plot there. With this one, it just felt like whatever. It wasn't sold to us as the next big drama, make you think, introspective film. It was sold to us as a Super Mario Bros. Film. It was great. It did everything it was supposed to do. I know I laughed throughout the film. My family laughed throughout the film. We had a fun time, and that's what Super Mario is for. There were a lot of cool things. There were a few things that they weren't bad. They're just things that maybe I would have changed, but we'll kind of go into that. And like I said, the one thing was everybody splitting up. That's one of the things that I kind of wish hadn't happened. But outside of that, a lot of good happens in this film. We got a lot of great cameos. We got cameos from, of course, the Pikmin and Donkey Kong, which that was an interesting choice. So Donkey Kong is not in this film except for a brief cameo without talking. He is hanging out in the real world, running around at the same time Yoshi is. You barely see Donkey Kong, and as someone who, I wore my Donkey Kong t-shirt to the film, I was very excited. And it was like, oh, Donkey Kong's not really in this. But it didn't bother me, because if you're going to add new characters, like they added Rosalina, they added Bowser Jr., they added a whole bunch of different, characters, one of which we'll get to in a second, you kind of feel like, oh, okay, then Donkey Kong would have felt like too much, especially with how short the movie was and how much everyone was kind of split apart. But it was still a lot of fun, and again, you don't need Donkey Kong for this. Maybe they'll make a Donkey Kong film, maybe a TV show, who knows. Universal could do something there, along with Illumination. And of course, Fox McCloud himself was present in the film. We got to see him along with images of the rest of the Star Fox crew. Glenn Powell does a phenomenal job as this character. He felt believable, he felt in-world, and the fact that he came from another universe makes a total amount of sense, especially if they're setting up something like Smash Brothers. I don't know if they are. They had a lot of Nintendo characters who would be in a Smash Brothers game show up in this film, including Mr. Game & Watch, which is one of the funnier parts of the movie, but he felt organically there, and that was a lot of fun to see this character. I personally think, I know a lot of people want to see a Smash Brothers movie, and I want to see a Smash Brothers movie. You got to introduce so many characters and do a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of potential for a Star Fox film, and I've seen other people talk about maybe a Star Fox TV show, maybe so, but a Star Fox film talking about him and the rest of the crew and everything that they do would be a lot of fun. Fox McCloud with Glenn Powell doing the voice carried a lot of weight and a lot of presence on the screen. There wasn't a moment he was on screen where you felt like, I want to pay attention to everybody else. Like, no, you're like, I'm definitely paying attention to this guy with some other people. Another fun new character was Rosalina, and Brie Larson does a wonderful job doing her voice. It just matches perfectly. The character of Rosalina is done really well. that's one of the interesting things about the film, is because Rosalina, they show her having all these powers and everything, but so how do you capture someone like that? And it's you exploit a weakness, which happens to be her family. And so that's how Bowser Jr. is able to capture her at the beginning of the film. It was very well done, very smart, and she felt like a core character to the film. Is she only in it for a small bit? Yes, but their constant goal is looking for her, is finding her, and then slowly learning about Peach's backstory and how she and Rosalina are connected. It was really well done, and I thought Brie Larson did a great job. I'm very much hoping that she's in future iterations of this franchise, that we get more Rosalina, we get more Fox McCloud, and maybe we can get some other characters from that universe, Falcon, Slippy Toad, all of that. And then, of course, for those who don't know, they teased at the very end of the film Daisy. Daisy showed up. Yeah, Luigi makes a joke earlier in the film. You know, ask her if she's got a friend for me. Well, lo and behold, there's a friend for you. What's going on with my hair? I got nothing for that. So we got a lot of cool moments. Yoshi was so much fun getting to see him. There's a great gag at the beginning. I actually won't give that one away because it's so much fun. I just remember my son laughed so hard that he felt the need to explain the joke to me in the middle of the theater. It was so much fun. Really loved getting to see Yoshi. He steals the show when he's on screen. The real show stealers of the whole movie, though, are Bowser and Peach, and that's because this really isn't a Mario Brothers film. It is a Peach film with some Bowser and Bowser Jr. thrown in. And I guess that's okay, and I say that because we haven't really explored the character of Peach. We know she came from somewhere else. We're not sure why she lives in Mushroom Kingdom here with all the toads, and we get that answer and we get some things. It's a lot of fun. We have her and Toad in a penguin suit at a casino fighting off some people, including Birdo, so that was a lot of fun. But Peach really is the focus of the movie. That doesn't mean the Mario Brothers aren't in it. It just means that even when they're on screen, their goal is Peach and Rosalina. When Peach is on screen, her goal is herself and Rosalina. When Rosalina's on screen, her goal is saving her star children as well as protecting Peach. It's a whole thing. It didn't feel odd. It didn't feel weird. I do find it odd, though, that they continually, and this is one of the it's a smaller gripe, but the princesses are all very overpowered. At no point does Princess Peach really need help. She can take on large swaths of people by herself. You got that in the first one. She doesn't really have to struggle. That's why there's actually a great moment of her and Mario doing a trench run that's based on one of the castle levels. It's a really cool way that they did it with the 2D animation versus the 3D. But it's great to see there because they're relying on each other. They're pulling each other out of the way of things. And it shows that, even though Peach is strong, without Mario, she's probably not getting through this. And it's the same for Mario. And I kind of like that they did that with her because Peach felt too strong in the first one. And that's what I was kind of thinking when I saw Rosalina at the beginning. But then they gave Rosalina essentially an Achilles heel. And it was exploited, and then we see her. She does break out at one point later, but then she's easily captured again by Bowser Jr. There's clearly something there, some sort of power or exploit that Bowser Jr. can use over her. So Rosalina didn't feel too overpowered in the film. Peach did a little bit, but then they kind of made up for that at the end. We get a fun fight with the Mario Brothers and Yoshi, and again, I won't give anything about that away. Yoshi's the funniest part of that fight, but they did a lot of cool stuff. See them versus Bowser, then versus Skeleton Bowser, or King of the Bones, whatever they call him, Lord of Bones. I know it's from the games. I'm sorry, I don't know the technical name for that version of Bowser, but it was a lot of fun to see, and they fought Bowser Jr., and Mario uses some power-ups he hasn't used before, and that was one of the cooler things about the film, too, is we got to see a lot more power-ups. Yes, we saw the frog power-up in the trailer, and things like that, but there's some power-ups they saved for the film, which I thought was a great idea. Don't, give the whole bag away. Don't unload the clip in the trailer. Just enjoy letting people see and experience these powers for the first time. Either I'm going Super Saiyan or I just have the worst hair day ever. It's so humid, but welcome to the South, baby. The only other real complaint I had is it was kind of awkward that we get it, Mario likes Peach, and there's the whole thing, but it seemed like Mario What I liked was that Luigi and Yoshi would tease Mario about liking Peach. That's kind of how guy friends would be. It'd be like, dude, you like a girl, whatever, haha. But at the same time, they talked about it twice in the film, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a very short film. It's two very larger sections, and it kind of felt like Mario was in his feelings a lot more than any of the other characters. That was a little strange, but it didn't really take me out of it. And there's a lot of funny beats in those two different conversations, so it really makes up for it. Outside of that, there wasn't really a lot that was bad. Again, the plot isn't anything to write home about, but this film did what it was supposed to do. It introduced us to new characters and introduced us to characters outside of this particular universe, the Mario universe. And we got to see everybody interacting, and it was a lot of fun, and it made you feel like, yes, there's a lot of possibilities for a Smash Brothers movie. There's a lot of possibilities for a Star Fox movie. We could even get a Donkey Kong movie or a TV show or something. There is a lot of potential here. And I think that was important for this film because the first one did its job. It was great. Like I said, I do think it is a better film. Not that this one is bad. There's a lot of fun things in this one too, but there's a lot of fun things in the first one. But they needed to show that they could keep it going. They could do it again. And I do think they have done it again. This movie is going to make a lot of money. And what's kind of cool is some of the movie, yes, the movie's very predictable. Oh, we're all going to do this, this, and this. There's a few little moments where it's not that it wasn't predictable. It's just that they kind of dip out of the story to bring something in that surprises you, like the Mr. Game & Watch thing. That is so well done, and it is fun for the fans, but it's also fun for people who don't know. I know that I went with my kids and then my parents. Even my parents were enjoying themselves, and they're not super big Nintendo people. You know, they're older, but at the same time, they were still able to enjoy these moments, and they kind of come in. You're not expecting it. It's really great. So the other thing that I don't think worked super well, and it was fine the way they did it, but they kind of have this Bowser's trying to reform. You see it in the trailer. You get more of it here in the movie, and it does turn out he is kind of turning and changing, but Bowser Jr. is the one that brings him back to the dark side and fills him with his evil and his rage and everything. But at the same time, I feel like that was more the Bowser we should have got the whole film versus the virtuous Bowser that we get for a small period. It did kind of feel a little wonky that he did that, but it wasn't totally bad. Like I said, Bowser ends the way Bowser should. He and Bowser Jr. are great. There's this fun scene of them in prison, and it's the first after credit scene, because every movie has after credit scenes now, but it was the first one, which they already put part of in the trailer and marketing materials, so I wasn't super thrilled about that. But it was still a fun scene, and it kind of makes you appreciate the Bowser character more. He and Bowser Jr. have this great relationship that gets explored a lot. And of course, we spend a lot of time exploring him and then Peach. And it was just a great way to really kind of wrap up this universe in terms of here's the main players. Now, like I said, Daisy does get introduced at the very end, so we're going to have one additional character, possibly more, but it didn't feel overwhelming. And I feel like that was the big thing, because this movie's only an hour and 38 minutes. You jam in 3 new characters, and it didn't feel overpacked. It did feel short, sure. Story felt a little but that didn't matter. And really, the movie, yes, it's for me and it's for nostalgia purposes and all that, but it's also for my kids. It's for people who are really young. And they did a great job. I heard kids laughing this whole movie. I heard parents laughing this whole movie. And it's funny because we laughed at a lot of the same stuff, but there's things they laughed at that the adults didn't, but then there's stuff the adults laughed at that the kids didn't, because the kids didn't really get it. And it was great to see. There was actually a dad in front of me. I mean, when Fox McCloud came on screen, who just went, "Oh, what is this?" It was really cool. It got an ovation after, something I hadn't experienced for a while going to the movies, which was really cool. So I think this was great. I will say AMC doing the Yoshi bucket was pretty cool, but we got there and saw that thing was $45, so we were out on that. Still a cool thing, but man, it's a lot. There you have it. I thought this movie was great. I think it's a good addition to Nintendo's universe. I'm hoping they build on it. I hope they do more. I actually really hope we get a Star Fox film now. And as someone who's played just a little bit of Star Fox and knows a little bit about the character, he was a lot of fun, and I'm hoping for more of that. Hopeful for more Rosalina in the future. maybe Bowser will get more of his kids involved. That'll be really fun. And of course, we're going to get Daisy. And there's so much potential here. And we already saw like a herd of Yoshis in the first one. So we've got the green Yoshi here. Maybe we can get more. And they didn't just do Super Mario Galaxy. They also did a little bit of Mario Odyssey and a little bit of Yoshi's Island. So there's a lot of potential there. They hit what they needed to hit. It was really good. I encourage you to go see the film. Hopefully we get a sequel sooner rather than later. We did get a trailer for Sonic 4 right beforehand, which is the one that's already out online. Nothing new. But I think it's a great time to be a video game player who also wants to see movies that tell the stories you love and are great adaptations. So that's it for this one. If you liked this video, just hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed, share this with your friends, and I'll see you in the next one.